From Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, this is Strange Discoveries. I'm Banana Jack Murphy. Thanks for joining us. Shoeless Joe Jackson is a native of South Carolina, growing up in the Greenville area. Now, the story of Shoeless Joe Jackson and his ghost at Comiskey Park is one of baseball's most enduring and eerie legends. Shoeless Joe, who played for the Chicago White Sox, was a brilliant hitter, one of the best in the history of the game. However, his career became marred by the infamous 1919 Black Sox scandal, in which 8 White Sox players, including Jackson, were banned from baseball for allegedly conspiring to fix the World Series. Despite his impressive stats and claims of innocence, Jackson was forever associated with the scandal, and his lifetime ban from the game kept him from reaching his full potential and ultimately entering the Hall of Fame. But the story doesn't end there. For decades, fans and staff claim to have encountered the ghost of Shoeless Joe Jackson at the site of the old Comiskey Park, where he played during his career. The original Comiskey Park, which hosted the White Sox from 1910 until 1990, was demolished to make way for a new stadium. But tales of Jackson's ghost persist. Some say they've seen a shadowy figure resembling Jackson seated alone in the stands, while others report hearing strange footsteps or feeling an eerie presence in the late hours of the night. Why would the ghost of Shoeless Joe haunt Comiskey Park? Some suggest it's because Jackson's legacy is so intertwined with the park itself. Despite the scandal, he was a transcendent player with a career that was tragically cut short. His connection to the ballpark, where he spent so many years playing and making history, seems to keep him bound to that spot. There's a sense that Jackson's spirit is lingering, perhaps seeking justice or redemption for what happened to him. After all, his involvement in the scandal was never conclusively proven, and many fans still believe he was innocent of the charges. The haunting of Shoeless Joe Jackson also speaks to something deeper in baseball lore: the relationship between greatness and scandal, myth and memory. Baseball is a sport steeped in history, full of heroes and anti-heroes alike. Jackson's story, a tragic combination of brilliance and fall from grace, is a perfect reflection of the sport's complex narrative. In a way, his ghost embodies the tension between baseball's idealized version of itself and the harsh realities that sometimes accompany it. For fans who believe in the supernatural, Jackson's ghost serves as a bridge to that bygone era, reminding them of a time when a different version of the game was played. Even as Comiskey Park was torn down and replaced, the legend of Shoeless Joe remains firmly embedded in White Sox history. The idea that his spirit still roams the field is more than just a ghost story. It's a reflection of how deeply baseball fans connect with their team's past, both the heroic and the tragic. Joe Jackson's ghost at Comiskey Park is a symbol of unresolved legacy, a reminder that the past is never truly gone, and that the ghosts of baseball are not just about hauntings, but about remembering what was lost and what could have been. In the end, whether you believe in ghosts or not, the tale of Shoeless Joe Jackson's haunting reminds us that some stories in baseball are never fully settled. They live on in memory, in legend, and sometimes in the faint echoes of a ghost on the field.
The Wampus Cat is one of the most fascinating and mysterious creatures in southern folklore, particularly in Arkansas. Known for its elusive nature, the Wampus Cat is often described as a large, powerful cat-like creature with glowing eyes and the ability to stalk the forests and mountains of the Ozarks. Some accounts paint it as a fearsome, nearly supernatural being, while others describe it as more of a wild animal, shrouded in myth and mystery. The origins of the Wampus Cat story are rooted in Native American folklore, particularly from the Cherokee tribe. One of the most popular legends tells of a Cherokee woman who, in her jealousy, spies on a group of shamans during a sacred ceremony. As punishment for her actions, she is cursed and transformed into a creature that can take on the form of a large cat. This transformation allows her to roam the woods, forever cursed to wander as the Wampus Cat. The creature is often depicted as a mix between a mountain lion and a panther, with a menacing, feline appearance, but what truly sets it apart is its glowing eyes, said to pierce through the darkness of the Arkansas forests. The Wampus Cat is said to hunt in the shadows, stalking its prey with both silent grace and terrifying speed. Though sightings are rare, the creature's reputation has persisted, with locals recounting chilling encounters and strange noises in the night that may be linked to its presence. Beyond its role as a terrifying figure, the Wampus Cat serves as a symbol of survival and mystery in the untamed landscapes of Arkansas. It's a reminder of how folklore can shape a region's identity, weaving stories of danger, enchantment, and the unknown into the very fabric of local culture. The Wampus Cat remains an enduring legend, a creature that lives in the shadows of the Ozark Mountains, eternally watching, waiting, and reminding us that some mysteries are best left unexplained.
On January 23, 1961, an event occurred that could have altered the course of history, but is largely unknown to the public. It was the day 2 U.S. thermonuclear bombs were accidentally dropped over eastern North Carolina. A terrifying incident that involved the potential for catastrophic destruction. At the time, the Cold War was in full swing, and the United States was on high alert, with nuclear weapons at the ready as a means of deterrence against the Soviet Union. The two bombs in question were part of a routine flight from the Air Force's 308th Bombardment Wing. The mission, a flight from Seymour Johnson Air Force Base in Goldsboro, North Carolina, was abruptly interrupted when a mechanical failure occurred during mid-air refueling. The resulting malfunction caused the plane, AB-52 Stratofortress, to break apart. While the crew ejected safely, the two nuclear bombs it was carrying fell into the countryside near the town of Goldsboro. Luckily, both bombs did not detonate, but they came frighteningly close. One bomb actually came within a fraction of a second of detonating. Each bomb was equipped with a 3-stage safety mechanism to prevent an accidental explosion, and it was this safety system that ultimately prevented a disaster. However, one of the bomb's arming mechanisms malfunctioned. Had the mechanism fully engaged, a thermonuclear explosion might have been unleashed, resulting in the destruction of much of North Carolina, and potentially the east coast of the United States. For years, the full details of the incident were classified, but in the 1980s, a Freedom of Information Act request revealed the extent of the event. Declassified documents revealed that the bombs were indeed powerful thermonuclear devices, with the explosive power capable of 4 megatons of TNT, more than 200 times the size of the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. While the bombs did not detonate, the potential consequences were staggering. If they had exploded, not only would tens of thousands of lives have been lost, but the geopolitical fallout could have been catastrophic, possibly escalating the Cold War into full-scale nuclear conflict. This near-miss was a sobering reminder of the immense risk inherent in the nuclear arms race and the fragile nature of the systems designed to prevent such a disaster. The incident raises important questions about the safety protocols surrounding nuclear weapons and the ever-present danger posed by their existence. It also reminds us of the fragility of the world in the nuclear age, a time when the line between peace and destruction was razor-thin, and when accidents, rather than intentional acts of war, almost brought about global catastrophe. Though it may have faded from the collective memory of most, The 1961 Goldsboro incident remains one of the most dangerous nuclear mishaps in history, an event that reminds us how close we came to an unprecedented disaster, and how important it is to remain vigilant in our efforts to prevent the use of such devastating weapons.
People ask all the time, who the heck is Low Cost Airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines, and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rates you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now.
Call 855-679-8173. That's 855-679-8173. Again, 855-679-8173.
Are you ready to dive deep into the eerie, the strange, and the unexplainable? Tune in to Bigfoot Radio Network, where the supernatural lurks around every corner. Get your chills with ScaryCast. Explore the shadows with Weird Darkness on the network that brings you the best in spooky entertainment. Banana Jack Murphy Productions welcomes you to Bigfoot Radio Network, your #1 station for scary stuff and lots of fun. Are you brave enough to listen?
The Salem Witch Trials, which took place between 1692 and 1693 in Salem, Massachusetts, stand as one of the darkest and most fascinating chapters in American history. This tragic event, marked by fear, hysteria, and injustice, sheds light on the destructive power of mass panic and the dangers of unchecked authority. In 1692, Salem, a Puritan village, was a deeply religious community. Its inhabitants believed in the constant presence of the supernatural, and their rigid worldview left little room for dissent. The trials began when a group of young girls, allegedly afflicted by witchcraft, claimed to have been tormented by the supernatural forces of local women. What followed was a wildfire of accusations that spread like a plague, fueled by fear, personal vendettas, and the religious zeal that permeated the society. At the heart of the Salem witch trials was the belief in witches, those who were thought to have made pacts with the devil. Puritan doctrine held that witchcraft was not only a sin but a direct threat to the moral fabric of the community. This fear was compounded by recent political instability, smallpox epidemics, and other hardships that made the community vulnerable to paranoia. Accusations of witchcraft often hinged on flimsy evidence, such as so-called spectral evidence, where accusers claimed to see the spirits of the accused tormenting them. This allowed for near-impossible defenses. People who were accused found themselves with little chance of proving their innocence. In fact, many accused women were pressured to confess, often under the threat of death, leading to a significant number of coerced confessions. One of the most notorious figures in this episode was Judge Samuel Sewell, who presided over many of the trials. However, over time, he became increasingly uncomfortable with the proceedings. As public skepticism about the trials grew, some of the key players began to reverse their positions. In 1693, the governor of Massachusetts, William Phips, intervened, halting the trials and later declaring them to have been a mistake. By the end of the Salem witch trials, 20 people, most of them women, had been executed, and many more were imprisoned. The event left scars on Salem that would take years to heal. The trials also became a powerful symbol of the dangers of scapegoating and the consequences of hysteria, serving as a reminder of the need for rationality, justice, and skepticism when faced with fear-driven societal panic. In hindsight, the Salem witch trials offer us a cautionary tale. It reminds us that we must guard against the demonization of the vulnerable, the abuse of power, and the societal urge to blame the other when faced with uncertainty or crisis. The lesson is clear. Without a commitment to fairness and reason, we risk repeating the mistakes of history, a history in which many innocents paid the ultimate price for nothing more than the fear of the unknown.
We're taking a moment here on Strange Discoveries to bring some light to those that might consider our program to be a show celebrating darkness. We say, no way! Jesus Christ's mission was nothing short of a radical rescue operation, pulling people from the grip of darkness and the suffocating weight of sin. In a world where suffering, fear, and evil were all too common, he reached out to those caught in despair. He didn't shy away from embracing the broken, the outcasts, or the lost souls burdened by evil things, whether it was sickness, addiction, hatred, or shame. With compassion, he offered forgiveness, hope, and a way out of the darkness. By embracing humanity's deepest pain and offering the light of truth, he showed us that no matter how far we fall or how trapped we feel, his love is powerful enough to pull us back and give us new life. Consider this from the book of John, chapter 14, verses 1 through 6. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, there you may be also. And where I go you know, and the way you know. Thomas said to him, Lord, we do not know where you are going, and how can we know the way? Jesus said to him, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you're dealing with darkness in your life, we suggest acquiring a copy of the Holy Bible. Next, seek out a Bible-believing church. Embrace the gospel. The darkness will dissipate. Our prayer is that all that enjoy our show discover the power of a personal relationship with our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
The idea of connecting Bigfoot, the legendary creature of folklore, to Esau, a biblical figure from the Old Testament, might seem unusual at first. However, upon deeper examination, both share some fascinating, albeit speculative, parallels that warrant exploration. So who's ready for another strange discovery? In the Bible, Esau, the son of Isaac and Rebekah, is described as a rugged, hairy man. In Genesis 25:25, it's said that Esau was born with hairy skin, a detail that makes him stand out even among his twin brother Jacob. The imagery here is significant because hair is often a symbol of primal or wild attributes in many cultures. Esau's ruggedness contrasts sharply with his brother Jacob's more refined and domestic nature. Esau's lifestyle, described in the Bible as being tied to hunting and living in the wilderness, also aligns him with an almost untamed wild man persona, much like how Bigfoot is often described in modern folklore. Bigfoot, or Sasquatch, is a creature deeply embedded in North American folklore, often depicted as a large, hairy, human-like figure that roams the wilderness. It's worth noting that the stories of Bigfoot have existed for centuries in various indigenous cultures, long before modern reports emerged in the 20th century. The idea of a creature that is elusive, hairy, and lives in remote forests seems to echo the traits attributed to Esau in the Bible. Both Esau and Bigfoot are connected to wilderness, isolation, and a certain degree of mystery. Another connection can be drawn from the way Esau's story unfolds. Esau's hairiness and his connection to the outdoors might have symbolized a more primal, untamed nature in ancient times, a stark contrast to the more organized and cultivated lifestyle of his brother Jacob. In a similar way, Bigfoot is often portrayed as a remnant of an ancient, untamable force of nature, something that remains beyond the reach of human control, much like Esau, who, despite his strength and ruggedness, is subject to the forces around him, including his relationship with his brother Jacob and his eventual fate. Moreover, there's the symbolic aspect of wildness and nature in both Esau and Bigfoot. Esau's eventual exile from his family's blessings due to his impulsive nature could be seen as a reflection of the way humans view untamed forces in the world, whether it's a creature like Bigfoot or the raw power that Esau represented. Bigfoot, in many ways, is the physical manifestation of the wilderness, an untouchable force outside of human understanding or control, much like Esau's portrayal as a man who lives by his instincts, sometimes to his detriment. In conclusion, while the connection between Esau and Bigfoot may never be definitively proven or understood, it is an intriguing thought experiment to consider. Both represent the wild of nature, untouched by civilization, and both invoke a sense of mystery and wonder. Whether metaphorically or mythologically, their shared qualities of ruggedness, hairiness, and the untamed wilderness invite us to explore our own understanding of what it means to be human in a world that is sometimes wild and unpredictable, and always full of strange discoveries.
The mystery of the lost colony of Roanoke has puzzled historians and archaeologists for centuries. In 1587, a group of English settlers, led by John White, established a colony on Roanoke Island, off the coast of present-day North Carolina. White returned to England for supplies, but when he returned 3 years later, in 1590, the colony had vanished without a trace. The only clue left behind was the word Croatoan carved into a post, leading to the island of the same name. However, despite extensive investigation, no definitive answers have been found about what happened to the colonists. Several theories have been proposed to explain their disappearance. One possibility is that the settlers assimilated with local Native American tribes, particularly the Croatoan people, whom White had established a relationship with. Some suggest that a combination of harsh conditions, disease, or attacks by hostile tribes may have led to the colony's collapse. Others believe that the settlers might have tried to relocate, possibly ending up further inland or even lost at sea. The mystery is complicated by the lack of physical evidence. No archaeological findings have decisively linked the remains of the colony to the existing theories, and no clear documentation was left behind by White or his men. The mystery endures as a tantalizing historical enigma, sparking speculation and research into one of the earliest and most famous failures of English colonization in the New World. The story of Roanoke serves as a reflection of the uncertainties and challenges of early colonial endeavors, where survival in a foreign and hostile land was never guaranteed. It remains a potent reminder of the fragility of human settlements in uncharted territories and the ways in which history can slip through the cracks, leaving only shadowy traces behind.
All aboard!
There's a new way to travel, and it's one of the oldest forms of transportation: travel by train. Yes, consider traveling around the United States on Amtrak. Traveling by train is a lot less of a headache than taking a plane, and you'd be surprised how many places you can go on an Amtrak. And there's no passports or IDs needed. Find out how to get where you're going as soon as tomorrow by train. Call the Amtrak Travel Hotline right now. We'll book your trip and email your tickets within minutes. Skip the drive to the airport and skip the lines. Call right now to book your Amtrak reservations. We service most of the United States. Do something new. Travel by Amtrak today. Find out how to get where you're going as soon as tomorrow by train. Call the Amtrak Travel Hotline right now.
Call 877-238-2680. That's 877-238-2680.
What are folks saying about Buddy Bigfoot jelly? It's wild and tasty according to a cave dweller in the mountains of North Carolina. It sure beats eating wild berries and twigs, says another outdoorsman from Oregon. In the mountains, in the woods, in the swamp, and on your kitchen table. Buddy Bigfoot jelly. It's so delicious, it's almost scary. And easier to find than a Sasquatch. Available now at buddybigfoot.com. That's buddybigfoot.com. The Rougarou, often dubbed the Cajun werewolf, is a fascinating and eerie figure deeply woven into the folklore of Louisiana. Rooted in French, Creole, and Cajun traditions, the Rougarou is said to be a shape-shifting creature, a human cursed to transform into a half-wolf, half-human beast under the light of the full moon. While the creature's physical description varies, it's commonly depicted with glowing eyes, sharp claws, and a hunger for human flesh or livestock. What makes the Rougarou particularly unique is its connection to local culture and the beliefs of the Cajun people. According to legend, one can become a Rougarou through a curse, often resulting from breaking religious or moral laws. Some stories even suggest that a person who violates Lent, say, by eating meat during this time, may be cursed to transform into the beast. This connection to Catholic practices demonstrates how folklore can intertwine with the community's spiritual beliefs. Beyond the terrifying aspects of the creature, the Rougarou serves as a figure of cautionary tales, encouraging children to behave, warning against laziness, and promoting a sense of moral conduct. It's a creature of both fear and morality, with stories of the Rougarou being used to instill discipline. The lore surrounding the Rougarou is rich, blending elements of old-world European werewolf legends with the cultural and environmental influences of the swamps, bayous, and forests of Louisiana. The eerie environment of these wetlands only adds to the mystery, with the Rougarou said to haunt the dark corners of the Cajun wilderness, lurking among the shadows of moss-covered cypress trees. It's a legend that still endures in modern-day Louisiana, with locals claiming sightings and festivals dedicated to celebrating the creature's place in the state's deep and colorful mythology. In the end, the Rougarou isn't just a monstrous entity. It's a piece of living history that continues to captivate and scare, reminding us of the power of folklore to shape culture and tradition.
Some things are strange, some things are stranger, and the strangest of things are here on strange discoveries underneath the pale moonlight. Whispers on the wind tonight. Eyes are watching from the trees. Footsteps echo not quite right.